location, great spot to be. But it also gives us time to remove ourselves from the game that we watched, because there was a lot of frustration watching yesterday's game play out the way it did. And now that we're 24 hours removed, you can still have that sense of frustration. But I have all sorts of different reasons in my hand why I am not worried about Jordan Love specifically and the Green Bay Packers. Because the other show that you're a part of is in the immediate aftermath after a gut-wrenching loss. And Steve the Homer True, the GOAT of sports radio in the state of Wisconsin, Dan lost his mind, saying that he doesn't trust Jordan Love. I still do. But it goes back to something that we've talked about really since Jordan Love was entrenched as the starter here. He's going to give you a couple every game. Will the team make a play on it, or will they not? Against the Lions, they did not. Against the Browns, they did, and it came at the worst time.
Well, I think it's ever evolving, Greg. The team is in itself. It's a new team then from what it was last year. Here's what I mean by that. We see now it's starting to be a defensive team. I think everybody can see where we're going with this. And I think we know, and I've told you this, that Jordan Love is on my list. I got a list of quarterbacks where they're going to throw you a couple of interceptions. You got to be able to get at least one of them to change the game, and that's what happened this past game. But I put some of the onus on the interception on Matt LaFleur. They weren't going to go Cleveland, weren't going to drive the ball 80 yards. They just weren't going to do that. So if you know your quarterback, then why put him in harm's way? That's just my thought. Let's just play percentages, run Josh Jacobs. If you got the first down, great. If you didn't, let's punt it away and see if Flacco can get it back downfield. I don't think that was a great possibility of happening. So for me, I think as we're learning about this team, the Packers team, who it is this year, the Packers for such a long, long time, under Favre, really under Rodgers, more so Rodgers and Favre, it's been an offensive team. Under Jordan Love, it's been an offensive team. It's changed. It's a defensive team. I think Matt LaFleur now, in my opinion, needs to start calling plays that reflect that it's a defensive team.
Here's the play that turned the tides for the Green Bay Packers. I call it the turning point or the pivot point in yesterday's loss. Here's how it sounded.
Four-man rush. Love throws. Intercepted. Picked off. Grant Delpit down the sideline. Inside the 10 and down inside the 5.
That happened on 3rd and 3 from the 25-yard line with 3:18 to play. The Packers are leading at that point. And to your point, Cleveland had done nothing on offense, right? They had done nothing. A field goal, fine, field goal, that'll happen. Right. So essentially, the Packers pitched a shutout for 3 quarters plus. Again, you know, looking at a team now 3 straight weeks where the only times teams have scored against Green Bay is in the fourth quarter. Teams have not scored in the first 3 quarters of the game. But to your point now, Matt LaFleur addressed this following the game, this interception, woeful interception, triple coverage, linebacker just sitting on the play, Wicks never really open, and LaFleur took the blame.
Yeah, so they were playing man coverage, and the guy, Delpit, did a hell of a job. He passed off Tuck to the inside backer, and he fell off in the window. So, you know, that's a bad play call. We shouldn't have called that play. That's on me.
So Matt LaFleur is owning up, maybe protecting his quarterback a little bit there. I had watched the play, and I watched it in slow-mo 10, 15 times.
Yeah.
And the one note that I wrote down, I wanted to ask you about it
Okay.
is, what is Dontavian Wicks' responsibility on that play? To me, it looked like Jordan Love was throwing a pass based upon his thought that Wicks would break at the first down marker and catch it instead of drifting north and south, right? Instead of going into open space, which he ultimately did. So instead of just securing the first down, Wicks is sort of extending his route up the field. It looked like Jordan threw it to a spot where he thought Wicks was going to be, and it clearly wasn't.
And those slant plays, Greg, are about timing, and it's really tough. And they were slants across the board, I believe. I think it was all slants across the board. And The number one thing you need to do when you're running a slant is get across a defender's face. Don't let the defender get in front of you. And when you're running slants, there's always windows that you're either in the first window or the second window. And you've got to figure out, sometimes you hold the ball a little bit longer, because you let him clear the window if it's not there and get to the second window. Where in this, I believe it was a quick game, so there wasn't going to be any window being cleared. It was just going to be predicated on where I think you're going to be. In that situation, it feels like to me that Jordan Love's got to read and see it. I don't think Jordan Love ever saw it. I think in his mind, he just threw to a spot and did not know that that's where his guy's going to be. Now, I'm sure they prepped this, and maybe they had a chart that says, this guy's never going to do that. What we've seen, they chart all the plays, that guy's never passed a receiver off and stayed in that window. And they played the percentages. Jordan Love played the percentages, and they bit him.
That single play in yesterday's game, the pivot point in yesterday's loss, is what led Chris Canty from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio to say this morning.
But the defense was ready to go. Defense played their asses off. Through the first 56 minutes of that game, they had a shutout. Your team was up by double digits with less than 4 minutes to go. And you lost.
Yeah.
Because your quarterback decided to throw the ball into triple coverage.
I don't understand it.
With all of the eyes of the defense looking at him because they're sitting in zone. That is an inexcusable loss by the Green Bay Packers.
It's unacceptable.
And
Absolutely.
that is on the quarterback. There is no way that you put the ball in harm's way in that scenario. Your defense has been locking down the Cleveland Browns all game long. There is no reason to risk it in that situation. Punt is a good play. And I don't understand why Jordan Love continues to have these moments throughout the course of his career when he makes those kind of mistakes. So that's why at the beginning of the season, after they demolished the Detroit Lions in week 1, we all said to ourselves, the only thing that can undermine the Green Bay Packers season is if you get a Jekyll and Hyde Jordan Love. And yesterday, it reared its ugly head again.
So is Chris Canty right? It is Jordan Love, the player, who will get in the way, ultimately, of the Packers accomplishing their goals.
I think it goes back to what I said. I think big picture for me. I think he's a good enough quarterback to win a Super Bowl. And I think what needs to happen is Matt LaFleur has to judge accordingly if we're going to move forward with Jordan Love. I agree with Chris Canty. Jordan Love didn't read the defense, just didn't do it. He just threw it to a spot. And he was going there all the way. He was looking. In his mind, Jordan Love's got to be thinking, if it's not there, throw it away. I can't make this throw. Flip it. Matt LaFleur, Chris Canty's right. Your defense has been kicking tail all day. Why are we even throwing the ball? Matt, come on. Run the football. Play. I don't know what the percentages were. What's the thing that they have now? The analytics. I don't know what the analytics were on that, but most certainly you and I know that they hadn't moved the football, Cleveland, all game long. What made them think that they need to throw the ball? Now, can I say this, though, because no one's talking about it? Jordan Love then took you back down there to get the game-winning field goal. Did he not?
On my list.
Did he not?
Of things that I put in the plus column for Jordan Love. Rebounded from adversity, bad situation. He put himself in it. I get it. But the Packers were in position to win that game with a field goal.
Absolutely. So when you start seeing all these things about Jordan Love, yeah, that was a dramatic moment. But he bounced back from that and led you down the field to win the game, put you in position to do it. And then special teams reared its ugly head. That's a whole nother topic in itself in special teams. Well, listen, they had 14 penalties. They had a turnover. There's no way you're going to win a game like that on the road it's just tough to do. And those penalties that they had was very crucial penalties.
I remain confident in Jordan Love, despite everything everybody is saying today about Jordan Love. And, oh, boy, threw a bad interception. He's not the guy. I don't believe that. I really don't. If you look at the way he was airing the ball out against Detroit and against Washington, and those were convincing wins, but the air yards on his throws, over 12 yards with that ball in the air. Highest total in the NFL. What did Cleveland do that Washington and Detroit weren't able to do yesterday? Totally destroyed the offensive line.
Yes.
Cleveland buried the Packers' offensive line. So while Jordan Love had a mistake, he had a problem on that 3rd and 3 play, and it's magnified given the time and situation of the game. The Packers' offensive line had 4 quarters of disastrous play.
Never got comfortable.
That's not being talked about enough.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why they had such a disaster of a time on the field is good defense they were going against.
Right.
2/5 of your starting offensive linemen were lost in the first few minutes of the game, with Zach Tom lasting just 1 play. Still don't know why he was on the field to begin with. We'll talk more about that with Jason Wilde. So you had 4 quarters of substandard play.
Yes.
And 1 substandard throw from Jordan Love. Mm-hmm. But the quarterback's the one who gets magnified in this situation. His air yards per throw yesterday, under 2. Under 2. That was the lowest in the NFL on Sunday. Credit to the Browns defense, but the Packers lost that battle in the trenches. Why do you do a quick passing game on 3rd and 3? I agree, run the ball. Jordan Love was under pressure on 42% of his dropbacks.
Yeah, he was harassed all game long. No doubt about it. Another thing, and I'm going Matt LaFleur and the coaching staff once again. They need to figure out what Jordan Morgan is and stop flipping him around. He's a young guy that's trying to find where he's at. I played 2 positions. I played tailback and I played fullback. And I've done those when I was with the Packers in the game at the same time. One series I'm a fullback, 1 series I'm a tailback. That's hard to do. That's really hard to do. Even more harder, I think, for a lineman, because now you're going from right guard or right tackle to left guard. Stance is all different. Blocking angles are all different. Myles Garrett hits over there. And so there's a lot of pressure. They need to figure out, put him at a spot and leave him there. I think they're doing this young man a disservice by moving him around all over the place. And I don't know if anybody asked Matt LaFleur about that today, but that's exactly what I would do. I would find a spot for him and make it easy. If he's going to be the backup, then he should be backing up at one spot.
I know someone who asked specifically about Jordan Morgan today in Matt LaFleur's press conference. Jason Wilde.
Oh, my.
Who will join us coming up on the other side. Just getting started here. It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Hang out with us. Should be a good one tonight with the Ravens taking on the Detroit Lions. And who knows, maybe Detroit goes to 1-2 on the season. We're back after this on ESPN Wisconsin.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Kyle Bruston Nortman.
They dominated this team from start to finish.
KVN.
And what Micah Parsons is able to do is unlock the entire defense to be even more confident because they know they have an all-pro that affects the game on so many levels.
Kyle Bruston Nortman. Afternoons from 2 to 5 on 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
This summer, your wishes take center stage at WishFest at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Play your favorite games with your Potawatomi Rewards card all summer for over $1 million in prizes and earn entries into the WishFest prize drawings on Friday, September 26th. Your entries from July, August, and September all count. Plus, 5 lucky winners will have their ultimate wish granted. Wish big, win big. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
So why can't the Miami Dolphins do it and do it and do it and get a win? It seems that when they play a team like the Buffalo Bills or any other team that's really good along the lines of Buffalo Bills, something's always be a happening to keep them from beating those teams. It could be a collective team thing. You can place on Coach Mike McDaniel. You can say quarterback Tua Tagovailoa needs to be better. Whatever it is something that has not worked in terms of those situations. They have a lot of great parts, but the pieces don't seem to fit together when they really need it to win those kind of games. Oh, when they get in front, man, they are fun to watch. They are eye candy. But when they're not in front and it's even Steven, or if they call it a comeback, it seems they always fall short against those really good teams or good teams. If this keeps up, there are going to be a lot of heads going to be rolling. But the question is still going to be there. With all those parts, why are you not able to beat those teams you had to beat that were better than you when it comes to the Miami Dolphins? In 60 seconds, it is Josh Allen's world now in the NFL.
Hey, it's Kirk Herbstreit. On game day, great prep makes all the difference. Same goes for your pizza. That's why I go with Frigidaire Stone-Baked Pizza Oven. Fresh pizzas go from dough to done in just 2 minutes.
Whether you're throwing a party or squeezing in dinner between plays, this oven delivers hot, crispy, restaurant-quality pizza right from your kitchen. Only from Frigidaire. Game-ready pizza. Get it today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
From kickoff to cash out, ESPN Bet has the tools you need to score more on game days. Bet smarter with stats at your fingertips. Get personalized parlays built just for you. And with your fantasy team synced right in the app, you can back your squad. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets when you bet $10. Sign up with promo code USL to get started. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
He's still going to be a great story. But for the first time in his NFL career, Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, is the quarterback that everybody is chasing. Whether you're Lamar Jackson, Baltimore, Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, or anybody else out there that's elite or close to being elite, the way he has played this year, and let's be honest, the way he's played the last 2.5 years, he is in that stratosphere. He is a top 3 player, not just a top 3 quarterback, a top 3 player in the National Football League. And the way the Bills have started, that comeback opening night versus the Baltimore Ravens, waylaying the New York Jets, and then 3 more touchdown passes, and they win over Miami to start 3-0. For the first time in his NFL career, Josh Allen is where Patrick Mahomes used to be before this season happened. He is now the hunted, no longer the hunter. How he handles that will be very interesting as the season goes along in the NFL. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio's Freddie and Harry.
You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
Tell me now, do you want it? 'Cause these dancing feet don't
Chalk it up to it's hard to simulate what these guys are going to go against in the game. I mean, we did our best in terms of trying to put them through enough, and certainly had them going in practice. But still, the game it's a different speed.
It's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur from earlier today, sort of clarifying the injury to Zach Tom. So Packers starting tackle, best offensive lineman on the field, perhaps you could argue. Compromised during practice throughout the week because of an oblique injury, left the game after the first play from scrimmage and did not return, and everybody thought the worst. Oh boy, here you go. Re-aggravated the oblique injury. And LaFleur sort of clarified it today, though he was kind of irritated, it sounded like, that Tom was even put in the situation to play yesterday, though I'm sure LaFleur knew about it going in. But saying, look, it just couldn't keep going. He just couldn't keep going, and all of a sudden the Packers had some massive shuffling to do. Aaron Banks also leaving the game. The shuffling continues against a strong defense, and it was an absolute disaster for the offensive line yesterday. Greg and Gary with you. It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. I wanted to welcome in Jason Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon across ESPN Wisconsin. Wilde, good evening.
Hi, guys. How are you?
You're doing well. So we kind of analyzed some of the offensive woes here from yesterday, and certainly Jordan Love had a bad moment in the fourth quarter, but 4 quarters of bad moments for the offensive line. That was a rough one yesterday, and it started early with Zach Tom. I know you talked to Matt LaFleur at length in his press briefing today about some of the shuffling on the offensive line, the personnel he had available. What do you make of that situation and where we stand today?
Yeah, I mean, look, I talked to Zach on Friday, and I kind of joked that he basically had a tiny little Zach Tom on each shoulder pad. And one was saying, hey, your team needs you. Also, they gave you an $88 million contract. They're playing against Myles Garrett and a really good defensive front. You got to give it a shot. And the other side of him was saying, you don't do them any good if you don't play well. and you still are having trouble running without pain. And so I was stunned when he was active. I mean, we were doing Green Bay game day, and I was absolutely shocked. And I guess I was right, which doesn't happen very often, because he lasted one play. I mean, remember how angry Matt LaFleur was last year in Chicago when Jair Alexander said he could play, and then he played 10 snaps against the Bears and then pulled himself out? Did you see how the Fox cameras found Zach Tom on the sideline? And I don't know about you, but it looked to me like he was actually in tears on the sideline, knowing he'd let his team down by only being able to play one snap. Gray Rugemer is on the sideline trying to console him, and he's got his face in a towel. I don't feel like Matt LaFleur clarified anything today. Greg, I still don't understand how that happens. Like, your job as a medical staff, as a coaching staff, is to protect players sometimes from themselves. And they should have said, no, Zach, we're not letting you play. Matt LaFleur's explanation that you can't simulate what it's like in a game, even though you try to during the week. No kidding. It's different when the other guys are getting paid to knock your block off. And I was stunned that they allowed him to play. And this is a medical staff that historically has always been conservative. And I know, that Dr. McKenzie has kind of passed the torch to Dr. Mike Ryan, who's going to be his successor. But I'm still confused as to how Matt LaFleur turned in a list of inactives, which was only 3 players long anyway, because they only have 51 guys on the active roster because they put 2 guys on IR without replacing them. I thought that was a terrible mistake. Whoever is to blame for that, and I know Zach Tom bears some responsibility, but you can't allow that to happen. And I don't think this will be an issue on Sunday night, because I think Zach Tom's going to be inactive. He's going to have the bye week, and then they're going to hope that has healed itself before they play after the bye against Cincinnati.
Yeah, you almost never see that in today's NFL. I think most of the 32 teams always are overcautious now about players' availability, because most certainly they're making a lot of money. And when you lose these guys, you don't lose them forever from some stupid mistake with an oblique that turns into something else. I was surprised too. I guess my biggest question then, because fallout from that would be then Jordan Morgan, because now you flipped him over to right tackle, but you've had Kennard over there, you've had Belton over there, and I know that Jordan had been there at some point doing training camp, but that then caught me by surprise. I thought for sure it would have been Belton or Kennard at right tackle to start with.
Yeah, and Gary, I asked Matt LaFleur very pointedly today, are you spreading Jordan Morgan too thin? And he basically said, yeah, we have to consider that. I felt like they felt good enough about Anthony Belton. Like, it's fascinating to me that they have now managed to surprise me in successive weeks with how they've approached playing right tackle, right? Like, not only did they play Zach Tom when I didn't expect them, but the first week that Zach Tom didn't play after he was injured, he gets hurt against the Lions, and they go to Darian Kennard, Dolly Parton's long-lost cousin, which I still can't believe that was in his bio with the Eagles. A guy who has 3 Super Bowl rings and had played in 3 career games in those 3 years when they traded for him. And, they go to him for 15 snaps, and then when the game is decided against the Lions, they put in Anthony Belton for 3 snaps. But the following week, on a short week with no real practices, I thought, well, there's no way they're going to go to the rookie without any practice whatsoever and only walkthroughs. And lo and behold, there's the rookie. And then they tell us that they felt really good about how Anthony Belton played. And so, of course, when Zach Tom only plays 1 snap, well, it's got to be Anthony Belton that goes in. No,
right?
It's not.
Yep.
It's the first-round pick from 2024. Jordan Morgan. And then they have a situation where they lose Aaron Banks to a groin injury, which Matt LaFleur said after the game wasn't the same groin injury that he'd suffered against the Lions, but I'm not so sure that's true. You got a different groin injury? So now you got to move the guy that's playing right tackle for you. Now he's the backup at left guard, so you got to move him. Then you bring Anthony Belton in at right tackle. And then Rasheed Walker has cramps or something and misses a couple of plays. So now you got to move Anthony Belton to left tackle so you can play Darian Kennard at right tackle. And you're now you've got 3 guys out of 5 that are playing in replacement of somebody else. Yeah. And then, oh, by the way, it's against one of the best defensive fronts in the league. The Browns don't have a lot of things going for them, but their defensive line is one of them. That was a you-know-what show, and it was exhibited by the fact that they gave up 5 sacks, and Jordan Love, that ties a career high of sacks that he's absorbed in a single game, and the guy only was sacked 14 times last season. Now, all that said, one of those sacks, not the offensive line's fault. Why they snapped the ball at the end of the third quarter just so Jordan Love could take an 11-yard sack and doesn't throw the ball away, that's another issue to be discussed at some point as well.
Some head-scratching plays, indeed, no doubt. You put it all together, and you understand why Josh Jacobs has, 1.9 yards a carry, right? And 3.1 on the season. Jason, how much of that is, in your opinion, Jacobs being the top name on the scouting report for opposing teams' defenses and the inconsistency and constant shuffling on the Packers' offensive line?
Yeah, I think it's that. I don't think that Josh Jacobs has suddenly become, Gary Ellerson or something. And I mean Gary Ellerson now. You were a great player when you were a young man, but now you're around that 60 mark, and we can't expect you to be out there. I love you, man. Come on now. You know what I was doing there. But that said, I think the biggest thing is that defenses are basically saying, hey, we're not going to let your running back beat us, right? We're going to play single high safety, and if your quarterback and your skill position guys can force us out of that, more power to them, and then we'll go to safeties and play more umbrella stuff because we don't want your passing game to beat us. And look, in fairness to Jordan Love, he's hit some balls down the field, right? He hit one to Romeo Doubs in the first game. He hit one to Malik Heath in the second game. Didn't hit any on Sunday, and so that's a problem. But I think it's mostly, and again, I get so frustrated with this subset of Packers fans that think any criticism of Jordan Love, who I feel like takes more responsibility for his mistakes than either of his 2 predecessors who are in the Hall of Fame or going to be in the Hall of Fame. So I don't think I'm harsh on Jordan, and I'm certainly not more critical of him than he is himself. But, he can't throw that pick, right? He knows that. Yeah. And Matt LaFleur can say it was a bad call by him, and that's true. But as LaFleur said to us today when I asked him about it, we tell our quarterbacks, don't make a bad call worse. And that's what Jordan did there. But they are basically saying, hey, I hear Mark Tauscher put a bet on Jordan Love winning the MVP. Well, if this guy's going to be in the MVP conversation, he's got to be able to throw these guys out of single high safety so their running back can be more productive. And so far, they haven't done it consistently enough that any of the 3 defenses have said, okay, Uncle, we're going to back off now, and you guys can run the ball against us because we can't have your quarterback beating us down the field so much.
No, you're exactly right. That's the MO for the rest of the year. Is we're taking 8 away, and 10, you got to figure out how to beat us, and that's going to be every game until he decides to do it. I would say this from a running back, offensive line standpoint. When they go in training camp, they do 7-on-7, and everybody goes down and watches 7-on-7 drill and watch all the highlight throws, this, that, and the other. And normally down on the other end is normally inside zone, right? It's normally the running backs and the offensive linemen with the defensive line. We're doing like an inside zone drill against the defense. I don't know if they do it anymore, but that's how we should do that particular setup. And what we're trying to accomplish is the running back is really trying to get a mesh point with the offensive lineman. And the offensive lineman, there's no passer being thrown, and the offensive lineman are trying to figure out, okay, double team second level. And it feels like the timing with the running backs, with the offensive linemen, it's not there, and those guys are not. And the reason why you don't get the 6, 7, 8 yard runs from your running backs because now your linemen are not getting to the second level, and that has hurt them. Also, when you have a revolving door of all those things that you just mentioned no longer 2 or 3 minutes ago, no wonder the run game is not good because they don't really have a mesh point into knowing where the soft spot is or where they're supposed to be in the run game. There's nobody practicing.
Yeah, again, if you look at where their run game is and where their offensive line is, I think we can all agree their running back's still good. No one thinks that this is a Josh Jacobs problem. But as you well know, look, he's not the first running back in NFL history to be so good that defenses said, we're going to load up the box and we're going to try and stop him and make that our priority. There are still, and look, I've seen, the offensive line that Tausch was on when Amon Green was going great guns, right? I mean, that 2003 season when he had 1,800 yards plus, you don't think that there were loaded boxes that he was running against?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course there were. And they still found a way to do it because of the running back and because that offensive line was effective in its blocking. They have to be able to – it can't just be, Jordan, throw them out of it. At some point, it's also got to be, hey, if they're going to do this, we got to be better. We got to be able to get to the second level and get the next guy after we get our first guy and give our guys some space to run. I mean, look, you guys, I know, Gary, you and I have talked about this in the press box. Like, that stat from last year about 1,329 rushing yards for Josh Jacobs, and like 55% of it was after contact. And the fact that Saquon Barkley had 1,328 yards, 1 yard fewer, before being touched, before contact on his 2,000-yard season, you have to give Josh Jacobs more of an opportunity to gain a few yards before he gets hit. And they're not doing that, whether it's the defense, whether it's their passing game, or whether it's their offensive line giving him the opportunity by blocking their guys.
One thought I have here, because I think it's a new team and it's evolving. It feels like it's going to be a defensive team. I think Matt LaFleur now needs to change his mind in how he called plays and rely a little bit more on his defense. Because clearly, was that Stefanski? Clearly Stefanski knows that the Cleveland Brown team starts to end with that defense, and he called that game as to say, I'm relying on my defense. They're going to stop, and we'll just see how many chances we can get to try to get a touchdown. I don't think Matt LaFleur has come around to that part yet about his defense.
No, I think you're exactly right. And the criticism that he deserves is that. And I asked him that too today, right? I mean,
oh my goodness, look at you, Jason.
I feel like I was kind of a jerkweed today, but hey, I did.
Jerkweed, that's a good one.
You lose games. That's an homage to Bruce Willis when he take this under advisement and he sends the computer with the C4 down the elevator shaft. But look, it's 3rd and 3. I know what he's thinking. Hey, we're going to complete this easy pass. We're going to get the first down, and we're going to go win the game. And we're going to run out the rest of the clock. They had one timeout left at that time. That's his mentality. But to your point, because Tausch argued the same thing, and that is, hey, you've got a really good defense, and they got a crummy offense. You run it into the line. You maybe Josh Jacobs gets more than 1.9 yards, which he averaged yesterday. Maybe he gets the 3 and he gets the first down, and then you can run out the clock. And if he doesn't, your great punter kicks it 65 yards. Let's say he booms a 75-yarder that goes into the end zone, and it's a touchback. Do we really think that a Browns team with no timeouts, starting at its own 20-yard line, can drive 80 yards for the game-tying touchdown? No, right? But again, he makes that decision, and then Jordan Love makes it worse by throwing the pick.
I got a lot to be mad about.
Piles of mistakes yesterday.
I really do.
And oh, by the way, 14 penalties, plenty on offense, plenty on defense to allow drives that weren't
What
really
about special
going
teams?
anywhere. Well, that was the best too, right?
We got a special
We didn't
teams
even get
coach
into that yet.
that we're paying a boatload of money to, that we thought that could get this thing straightened out, that is causing you my least worry coming into this game was Whelan and McManus. They didn't even think about those two guys.
Well, and even on the left side of the line of scrimmage here, like I'm pretty sure that the goal is for Tucker Kraft to get a hand on somebody who's charging in from the opposite side on the edge, and he whiffed. He flat out whiffed. Not being talked about enough today. People are trying to analyze the angle and the trajectory of Brandon McManus's kick. Tucker Kraft whiffed on the left side of the line, right? It opened the door. Just, here you go. Have at it, right? And it helps change the game. A collection of mistakes, one seemingly compounding the other. And in an assortment of penalties, which has been a 3-game issue here, Jordan Love's pick, 1-game issue, but I understand it can point back to other games. Bad throw, terrible play call, all the things we talked about. Offensive line play, 1 bad game out of 3, still feels a little unsettled to me. But the penalties, my goodness, I mean, that is what
14,
will make a coach rip their hair out, because these are non-aggressive penalties. These are dead ball penalties. These are before the ball is even snapped penalties mixed in with some of the others. So, yes, we probably could have gone for 2 hours on the collection of mistakes.
Sorry, Jason.
We likely will here for the rest of the program.
Yeah.
All right, now I feel like a jerkweed. God darn it.
Is
right,
it jerkweed or jackweed?
It's jerkweed. It's from the Christmas movie Die Hard. It's a cult classic. Jason Wilde, ESPN Wisconsin's Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon. Further analysis on this game and looking ahead to the Cowboys matchup on Sunday. Check out he and Tausch tomorrow morning at 9. Appreciate it, Wilde. Thanks so much.
It is a Christmas movie. I couldn't agree with you more. All right, guys, take care. Be good.
All right. Yep.
You do the same. Coming up next, again, I switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about the Micah Parsons effect here in Week 3. How did he affect the game for the defense that, by and large, if you look at the numbers, played pretty well, but there were some leaks. Penalties were a big part of that. We'll dive into it after this.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
Hey sports fans, looking to level up your next private event? V Private Bar Services is your game changer. Move beyond the ordinary. V Private Bar Services crafts custom cocktails tailored to your brand and your guests' tastes. Imagine a bar experience that's as unique as your business. Our expert mixologists will create a memorable experience that your clients and team will rave about. From signature cocktails to full-service bars, we've got you covered. Be the MVP of your next event. Visit vprivatebar.com to book today.
Grand slams and walk-offs. If you haven't jumped on the bandwagon by now, what are you waiting for? Siding Unlimited is Milwaukee's very own national champions. That's right, Siding Unlimited installs windows, and we do it really well, earning the prestigious Pella Platinum Premier National Certified Contractor of the Year award 5 times. New windows? Our expert team will deliver on a smooth, hassle-free installation, making you feel proud of calling Siding Unlimited for your window project. What's the next step? Call 262-567-4513 or go to sidingunlimited.com.
Looking to heat up a career in HVAC? Dick & Trauff Heating and Cooling in Milwaukee is now hiring HVAC installers and service technicians. Family owned and operated, Dick & Trauff offers competitive wages, a 401k match, health insurance benefits, and a winning, positive team culture that sets them apart. This is more than a job. It's a chance to grow with a company that truly values its people. Apply now to become their newest team member at dickandtrauff.com. Dick & Trauff Heating and Cooling. Come see the difference. Apply at dickandtrauff.com.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
What's better than cheering for the Packers with an ice-cold beer in your hand? Cheering for the Packers with an ice-cold beer in your hand that you got for 10% off. And when you get Packers checking from Associated Bank, you get even more. Like 10% off food and 10% off drinks on game day. Like that ice-cold beer in your hand. Plus 15% off Pro Shop gear. only with Packers Checking. Associated Bank, Bank of the Packers. Learn more at associatedbank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
This is an ad by BetterHelp.
Cold plunges, better sleep, a gym buddy. How do you know what has the biggest impact for an active body and mind? With BetterHelp, you can talk with real, qualified therapists, not AI. With a 4.9-star rating, BetterHelp understands mental wellness shouldn't be tougher than a workout. Their therapists can figure out what's best for you. And yeah, it might involve a cold plunge. Visit BetterHelp.com, code TIMEOUT for 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com, code TIMEOUT.
The vibrant fall colors and cooler temperatures make for great days out on the golf course. The Island invites you to experience the best of fall golf with late season rounds at Sweetgrass or Sage Run. Fall golf rates run through the end of the 2025 season, with tee times starting at $75 and stay and play packages from $125. And submit your 2026 golf package request early to guaranteed choice dates. Plan your fall golf adventure today at islandresortgolf.com.
For your fellow fanatics and your #1 fans. For your game day compatriots and your everyday companions. For your personal cheerleaders and your personal heroes. For the reasons you smile, get covered with dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. Learn more at deltadentalwi.com today.
You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
It's 18 games. We lost a rough one, one that you could have said we should have won. And you just grow off it. Like, this is the character building. This is the adversity. We had adversity. You know, we backed up in the end zone. We gave up 3, but penalty. This is all part of adversity. Undefeated seasons, like, they're hard in the NFL. Like, let's be real. And sometimes, just like today, you the bed. That's just the reality of it. Like, it happens to the best teams. You know what I mean? Even the best Super Bowl champs make mistakes, and they pay for it early. You know what I mean? You go back to the history of the champions and who they played and games they should have won. It's just part of being national. It's that competitive. It's that hard to win. Like, it's hard as hell to win football games. So when you win football games, it's a celebration. But when you lose, it sucks.
It's Micah Parsons recapping a rough day in Cleveland as the Packers fall to the Browns 13-10. Cleveland scoring 13 unanswered points all in the fourth quarter to send the Packers home with a record of 2-1. I do want to talk about the Micah Parsons effect here on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. 6 pressures. He drew a holding penalty. Also had 2 offsides penalties, which I know he's frustrated about. I noted this yesterday just watching the game. You know, when the Packers were doing some of their misdirection stuff with Golden. I saw in the first play from scrimmage, or one of the first plays from scrimmage that the Browns had, they're going to hard count. What are you trying to do? You're trying to get an aggressive defense to go one way while you go the next. You're trying to use their aggression and aggressive nature against them with the hard count to get them to jump off sides, so on and so forth. Well, it happened. And it worked. Really, it worked against both defenses, who by and large played very well, but the penalties started to mount for the Packers specifically. 14 total. Kind of a split here, offense and defense, more on offense than on defense. But nonetheless, you got a free 5 yards before that 55-yard field goal because of a Micah Parsons offsides. I don't think many kickers today are worried about a 60-yard field goal. Seems like they can just sort of handle that kind of stuff. But that drive begins with a free 5 yards. The clock is stopped, right? The clock's not moving, dude. Just stand in your stance. And I know he was upset with himself. Micah Parsons going to make more plays that control and affect a game than will negatively impact a game.
Correct.
But it showed up at a bad time, and his aggressive nature was used against him successfully by the Browns.
It was, and that's what you got to do. Like, when you're playing a team that has a pass rush like the Browns and like the Packers, you got to be able to mix up your snap count. You got to go on first sound. You got to be able to go on 3, right? You got to be able to have all these dummy calls, right? You got to go draw screen. That's why the Packers were doing a lot of screen plays, because they couldn't get the ball down the field because Jordan Love was being sacked, harassed. Same as Flacco, he was being harassed. So And really, Micah Parsons' whole thing is, if you've seen him play now the last 3 games, his get-off time is incredible. And he is all over the ball all the time. I mean, I've been watching him now for the last 3 games. He is always closest to the football than any other defensive lineman that's out there. He crowds the ball, and his get-off is incredible. So he relies on that to get the sacks that he gets. And sometimes it's going to work against him. And the only way you can slow that dude down is by mixing up your counts.
Well, it worked yesterday at a time here for Cleveland. Another defensive lineman or linebacker who had a good game, Rashawn Gary, 3 quarterback hits, 2 tackles for loss, had a couple of sacks, now leads the league in sacks here. And some of this, Gary, I've noted, is, yes, with Parsons on the field, but some of it's with Parsons on the sidelines, too, which I think is ultimately a good sign. Boy, everybody gets to eat when number 1's on the field and everybody's paying attention to him. But there have been times where Rashawn Gary and even Lucas Van Ness have blown apart the offensive line or whoever's chipping or whatever, split a double team to get to the quarterback with Parsons on the sidelines.
Because they have so many guys that they can rotate through. Your offensive lineman can't get a bead on one guy. You understand what I'm saying? The moves that they create, they don't. Now Lucas Van Ness does something different than Rashawn Gary does. Rashawn Gary does something different than Van Ness. Van Ness does something different than Michael Parsons, so on and so forth. And it sets these offensive linemen up where, we're talking about it, everybody can eat. Now, on one particular sack that Rashawn Gary got, didn't even get blocked. And that was Micah Parsons' effect, because Micah Parsons is lined up behind him. This reminds me a lot of Packers back when they had Clay Matthews and Charles Woodson, because Charles Woodson was a heck of a blitzer, where they would put sometimes them on the same side, and they would have to figure out which guy they're going to double team, and sometimes the guy gets free. The Packers are kind of playing that same defense that they played back when they had Woodson and I just forget his name.
Yeah, Woodson and Clay.
And Clay.
And then you had a guy like Cullen Jenkins and B.J. Raji on the inside, too, which was not easy.
Right, and then Nick Perry as well. So they had a conglomerate of guys that they could all use. But in this case, you had a cornerback, a safety, that was also a good blitzer as well.
I don't walk out of yesterday's game, Gary, thinking anything less about the defense than I have throughout the course of the season. I still think this is a marquee defense.
Yes.
They didn't, to me, however, appear as crisp in their tackling.
Right.
I think early on, especially at home, and I get it, you're at home, you're charged up, you're playing on, prime time, or in game number 1, it's regular season opener, home crowd against the Lions. Boy, it felt like there was, 5 or 6 jerseys near the ball carrier. It didn't feel like that as much yesterday. Harold Fannin, the rookie, breaking a few tackles and picking up an extra 7 or 8 yards. It didn't feel as crisp. I still feel great about the Packers' defense. I think some of what they also experienced yesterday was a very much struggling Browns offense. But one thing I noticed, tackling didn't seem quite as crisp yesterday.
Well, this is why I didn't lose my mind last night on the post-game show with Homer. Because, great, they beat 2 teams. I don't think a lot of Packer fans thought that they could win, right? I mean, Washington's a really good football team from last year. They're different this year. But Detroit was a really good football team, so they come out of there 2-0. Everybody's talking about Super Bowl. And I said to myself, okay, now these guys are going to go on the road. Let's see what happens on the road against a really good defensive team. And we haven't even talked about it here, Greg, where you're missing your 2 leading receivers that you had last year. And up until that point, you were missing 2 starting offensive linemen, which end up come to fruition again. And can you still go win a game on the road? And it proved out, I think, with everything else that happened, it proved to be too much. It proved to be too much to overcome. Although you had 14 penalties and you had a turnover, but Christian Watson is one of your best receivers that you had last year. Jaden Reed then is a guy that you can't replace because he does everything for you. And now you're going to go rely on Savion Williams and Matthew Golden. I'm not saying these guys are not good players. Malik Heath, Dontavian Wicks. Great that you had Tucker Kraft. He may have been a little banged up. But you're trying to win a game without probably, out of 4, top 5 players? That's tough to do on the road in the NFL.
Matthew Golden, 4 receptions, 52 yards, had a long of 34. It seemed like the momentum on his route, and where that ball was thrown sort of carried him out of bounds.
It did.
That should have been a touchdown, right? A different, not on Golden, but I'm saying a differently placed ball. I think it results in a touchdown.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I went back and looked at that play today, and the reason why that ball carried the way that it did, because it was an angle where you had a cornerback sort of underneath the play, where Jordan Love had to get it over the top of the guy in front of him, so the trajectory of the ball, I think, had to be placed where it had to be placed.
Yeah, it was a little outside the numbers, so Golden catches it kind of over his shoulder.
Yes.
And it didn't feel like I don't think he lost his place, but it didn't feel like he could totally.
He couldn't stop.
Put a foot down and angle.
Couldn't stop. The momentum was carrying him. I thought it was because I go, oh my God, come on, Jordan Love, just throw that thing down the field, and you couldn't because of the way the defensive back was set up underneath the receiver.
Another team with some wide receiver issues here, the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to go through the Cowboys. It totally does. Yeah, it totally does. But it was interesting to watch it in real time. I thought, he's got to score on that. You watch it a few times over, and you understand the challenges he would have had staying in bounds.
Yeah.
We're going to dive into the Cowboys with Todd Archer. He covers the Cowboys coming up at about 7:30. How would you rather arrive at 2-1? I want to go through this coming up on the other side.
I saw I just kind of mentioned that a little bit.
It's a 2-1 record, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Packers fans are at the start of the season. Can you go 2-1 in your first 3 games? I think a lot of fans will be like, okay, cool, sign me up. That's
like
fine.
this. Okay.
How would you rather arrive at 2-1? We'll dive into it after this.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Buckle up, Milwaukee. The journey starts now.
Around third is Durbin. Here comes the throw home. Durbin slides in there safely. The Brewers walk it off in 10.
The Crew have punched their ticket.
And the Brewers, clinching the playoffs earlier today, put an exclamation mark on it here tonight.
Brewers playoff coverage on 94.5 ESPN is presented by Neurospine Center of Wisconsin. Stay up to date on all your Brewers talk right here.
Pull up to Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee and shoot your shot at big wins for Sweet Ticket September. Play with your rewards card for entries. Score triple on drawing Thursday. Win slam dunk prizes like cash, reward plate, and tickets to see the Milwaukee Bucks in action. Sweet Ticket September. You ready for this? Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats.
Now through Wednesday, save on 9 to 13.1 ounce selected varieties, Old Dutch tortilla or potato chips, 2 for $5.50. 32 ounce selected varieties, International Delight Creamer, 2 for $7. 10 to 10.8 ounce selected varieties, Bird's Eye Vegetables, 4 for $5. 10.5 to 11.25 ounce selected varieties, New York Texas Toast, 2 for $5.
I am starving.
Oh no, never walk into a Century when you're hungry.
Unless it's free sample day. Ooh, pizza, yes. I'd love to try that one.
My husband thinks he can make a meal out of grocery store samples.
Need to wash this down. I think I see someone handing out samples in the liquor department.
Geez, can we focus on our list?
What's this?
It says you can win 2 tickets to Green Bay's home game against Chicago on December 7th.
Or autographed footballs, or a 4-pack of Green Bay Hall of Fame tickets.
You have to enter through Century's Facebook or Instagram.
I'll be entering this on my phone in the deli next to that cheese sample station.
Enter by November 12th. Every great team starts with a strong defense, and the same's true in business. That's why companies trust Trend Micro for cybersecurity. From ransomware to phishing to the most advanced cyber threats, they help protect your network, your data, and your people. With over 35 years of expertise, Trend Micro has built a defensive playbook trusted by enterprises worldwide. Your business works too hard to get blindsided. Go to trendmicro.com and see how enterprise security is done right. That's trendmicro.com.
Milwaukee College Prep, redefining what's educationally possible so more children can pursue their dream. Join me, Craig Karmazin, and Milwaukee College Prep Thursday, October 23rd at Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and take a stand in closing the opportunity gap for Milwaukee scholars. Your support means quality education is accessible to over 2,000 scholars in Milwaukee. Enjoy food, drinks, and a chance to learn more.
Purchase tickets at 2025. TakeAstand.GiveSmart.com. That's 2025. TakeAstand.GiveSmart.com.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Neal Group. You may have heard Congress pass the One Big Beautiful Bill, which President Trump campaigned on. Leaving the non-tax parts out, what does the new law mean for business? To be honest, less than you think. There are larger deductions for purchasing equipment and other fixed assets in the year of purchase. The Qualified Business Income Deduction, or QBID, is now a permanent deduction for partnerships and S corporations. Remember the 1099-K back and forth? The minimum amount for issuing 1099-Ks, which are typically from credit card companies or e-commerce sites like Amazon or Shopify, will now be $20,000. Call us now for a free consultation to see how you may be affected by the new law. Call 414-325-2040 now. You earned it. We help you keep it. That's 414-325-2040 or nealgroup.net.
We're back with Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
All right, so the Packers are 2-1. Now, when you do your exercise before a season begins, you do you're going to win here, you're going to
win
lose
losses.
there. Yeah, do that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Packers fans do this, and I would not be surprised if many Packers fans had the Packers at 2-1 following their first 3 games of the year. How would you rather arrive at a record of 2-1? Because I like the idea of throttling 2 NFC powers on your home field and getting that whole narrative from last year that you can't beat the good teams out of the way early, and then losing to a subpar team on the road, AFC opponent. If you're going to lose, you lose to an AFC team that really isn't worth a darn, that's trying to develop some good habits. I'm okay with that. 2-1, if that's how I'm drawing things up for the first 3 games of the season, I'll take 2 wins over NFC powers and a loss to an AFC team on the road.
No brainer, because I think when you break it down, I think most people thought they were going to lose one of those games. They were either going to lose to Detroit or they were going to lose to Washington. I think most Packer fans thought that. No one saw, but then after you won those 2 games, more than anything else, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I think it's good for the team, and here's why. Because you're trying to get to the Super Bowl, and maybe, just maybe, the Packers got too full of themselves after 2-0. And now you got to go on the road. Everything's different. You face a little bit more adversity on the road than you do at home. You're uncomfortable. And now it teaches you on the road how to win on the road against an opponent that you should actually really beat, and that you learn something from that. And then now you follow that up with the Dallas Cowboys that's coming up here this next week. So I think, at 2-1, better lessons were learned at the way they won both of those games at home and losing to a team that they know that they're better than.
Nothing has changed. Everything the Packers want to accomplish
If
this
you
season,
thought the Green
still
Bay
out front.
Packers were going to make the Super Bowl at 2-0, you most certainly still think they're going to make the Super Bowl at 2-1. If you still don't feel that way, then something's wrong with you.
I get it.
That's the problem that I had last night.
I'm cool with the way they arrived at 2-1.
Absolutely.
As frustrating as that game was against the Browns, and you'd rather be 3-0. If you're going to be 2-1, you beat a couple of powers on your home field.
Absolutely.
Still feel pretty good about that.
I mean, they beat up Washington, right? I mean, they didn't just beat. There was a beat down from a physical standpoint from that Washington Commanders team when they left Green Bay.
Coming up next, we play a little buy or sell.
Oh my!
After this.
For every athlete, every fan. Whether you're suiting up your team or rallying your fan base, Alpha Custom Apparel brings fresh, affordable designs to the field, court, or stands. We outfit schools, clubs, leagues, and fans with gear that turns heads and builds pride. Need uniforms, spirit wear, or fan merch in a hurry? Our quick turnaround and unbeatable Midwest-based service means you'll be ready for game day in style. Quality designs, comfortable fits, local service you can trust. Create with us at alphacustomapparel.com.
Hey, it's John McGivern here. You know I love Network Health. One of the reasons is that they're local and they understand how important that is. Their exceptional customer service isn't just words on a page. It's what they do. It's what they've always done for over 41 years. Call 833-7-NETWORK today. HMO and POS plans underwritten by Network Health Plan. Compensation has been provided for using this endorsement of Network Health.
Looking
for a delicious meal without breaking the bank? Cousin Subs has you covered. Our $10 meal deal gives you a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub piled high with fresh hand-sliced ingredients, crisp veggies, and all your favorite toppings. Add a bag of chips or regular fries, a fountain drink, and a cookie, all for just $10. This deal's available online or through the Cousins app only. And you can enjoy your meal at home, at work, or delivered straight to your door, hot and fresh. Cousin Subs. We believe in better. Available at participating locations. Offer subject to change.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments. Behind the Bucks is Bucks history, like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune in to Kyle Bruston Nortman every day from 2 to 5, WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The game is over.
On the right hash, Daniel Whelan the hold. The kick is blocked. It is blocked. The Browns get the swat and turn the Packers away.
And it's the day after.
Four-man rush. Love throws. Intercepted. Picked off. Grant Delpit down the sideline. Inside the 10 and down inside the 5.
Let's react to the game and look ahead.
That's a bad play call. We shouldn't have called that play. That's on me.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios. Here's Greg Matzik and Gary Ellerson.
And week 3 of the NFL season comes to a close tonight. Should be a good one here. Baltimore Ravens taking on the Detroit Lions. Both teams 1-1 after 2 weeks of the season. Expect a lot of points here on the board tonight. I've not checked the over-under at Potawatomi Sportsbook, but I'm going to guess it's somewhere around 50 for tonight's game. That seems about right, given what these teams are capable of doing. Heck, they both put up nearly 50 on their own at times already this season.
You don't think it's going to be a defensive struggle?
I really don't. I kind of think back to Baltimore and Buffalo from earlier this year and what that game ended up being, thinking that there's plenty of power on offense and just too good of offensive talent to be slowed down by either one of these defenses.
I think Baltimore blows them out.
You really think so? What gives you that level of confidence?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how it plays out in my mind, but then that means Jared Goff has got to be spot on here.
Well, it's an outdoor game at night.
Yeah,
on grass. And had to do that a lot last year.
Yeah, he's got to be spot on in order for it to happen. And that run game, but Baltimore's defense is one of the better defenses in the league. They can play.
We will do a little walk around the league coming up a little later in the program. We'll do a little preview of the Dallas Cowboys coming up with Not My Beat at 7:30 with Todd Archer, ESPN Nation Cowboys reporter. Time now for Buy or Sell.
The market is open, and the hot takes are trading fast. From bold predictions to brutal realities, it's time to put the takes on the table. Are you buying or are you selling? It's time to buy or sell.
All right, a couple different components to tonight's version of Buy or Sell. We're going to do a couple things Packers related, and then the back half of the segment here, Gary, I've got a subtitle here under Buy or Sell called Real Deal or No Appeal. And it's essentially your take on the first place teams in the NFL after 3 weeks, or in the case of the Lions and Baltimore Ravens, just 2 weeks with game number 3 coming.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's start first with this. Through 3 weeks of the regular season, the Packers have the 22nd best rushing attack in the NFL. Are you buying or selling? This will be a bottom third in the league rushing attack at season's end.
Now, if I say selling, that does that mean that they'll get better? I'm saying that they're going to get better. The Packers' run game will be better than what you see right now.
Then you are selling the notion that they will be a bottom third in the league rushing attack.
They will be much better than what they are right now. They're going to be a top 10 rushing offense.
Top 10. So to be top 10, you're likely having to average somewhere around 120 yards a game.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
Yeah, I think that's where they'll end up being.
Right now they're about 98.
Yeah, that's where they end up being. I think they get it together. I think Once they settle on this offensive line and stop experimenting, get everybody where they're supposed to be, I think you're going to see this offensive line take off.
So it's kind of a combo platter then, right? So it's a little bit on the offensive line being a little more cohesive, and it might be a minute before you see that, by the way, because I don't think Zach Thomas is going to play till after the bye week. I really have no idea about Aaron Banks.
And I'm good with that. So now let's settle in on right tackle. Is it Kennard? Is it Belton? And let's go. And coach him up. Right, let him make mistakes. And then coach him. You can't have a guy at right tackle. He makes a mistake at right tackle. Then you move him left guard. He makes a mistake at left guard. But now you got to correct the mistakes that he made at right tackle. Then you got to correct the mistakes he made at left guard. The guy is swimming. You just can't do that.
And he might as well be a rookie in terms of playing time and experience, right?
Exactly.
So there's two components to it, if I'm reading you right. You've got the offensive line and the hope you can develop some continuity. And then number two, and you've been on this really since the start, Josh Jacobs, the top name on the scouting report.
Yes.
He's being held to 3 yards a carry through 3 games against a premier defense in Cleveland. I think a good defense in Detroit and an okay defense at best in Washington.
Agreed.
That's kind of just simply put. But it also relies on Jordan Love kind of hitting everybody and being open and enforcing people out of, stacking the box and doing those kinds of things. And it likely takes Matthew Golden kind of emerging here and becoming a true playmaking threat, which certainly could happen. I think it will happen. But that's sort of the combo platter for another name to creep up next to Josh Jacobs on that scouting report. Right?
Yes, absolutely. No doubt about it.
The Packers are allowing 14.7 points per game this season through 3 games. Are you buying or selling? They will finish the season allowing fewer than 20 points per game.
That's a good one. I'm buying that. This is a pretty good defense. I think they have an opportunity to get even better than they are, because I think the secondary still is not good as they can be. Turnovers, they haven't really created a lot of. Xavier McKinney got a turn in his last game, but it was kind of a throwaway. They haven't really created a lot of turnovers here in these last 3 games. I think you're going to see more turnovers from these guys than you've seen that they've had in the first 3 games.
That's an interesting one, because that was the hallmark of Jeff Hafley's defense last year, especially early on. I mean, it was multiple turnovers per game. Xavier McKinney had it was every game he had a pick. It was kind of crazy. I might have argued that McKinney maybe should not have had that interception.
Correct.
In the game, bat it down, right?
Yeah.
Give yourself a field position opportunity. Maybe you can set up for a real long field goal with a guy with a strong leg, but nonetheless, I get it. It's hard to do. Sometimes it comes down to the ball.
He gets paid for that, though.
He does, and that affects future contracts. Batting the ball down doesn't show up on the resume. Hey, could have had one here. That's worth another $3 million. I get that. I don't even know how to answer my own question here, because I think that is an incredible total. If you're talking about under 20 points per game,
yeah, it is.
You're doing that. You're thinking if we score 23, 24 points a game, we're going to win 10, 12 games this season, which I do believe the Packers are going to do, even with some of the struggles that we're seeing on offense early on. That number, to me, would likely be befitting of a top 5 defense in the league.
Yes, no doubt. And that's what they're trending to be.
And as we've noted before, the Packers have not won a world championship, or a Super Bowl, I should say, without a top 5 defense.
Yes, and that's going to happen.
Number 3, Rashawn Gary, through 3 weeks, and I get there's still 1 game to play, leads the league in sacks. Are you buying or selling that Rashawn Gary will be top 5 in sacks in the NFL this season?
Yeah, I'm buying that. Absolutely he is. Because he almost, at this rate, the way it's going, probably can get a sack a game if he stays healthy. He is trending for double-digit sacks, no doubt about it. Now, the way they're using them with Micah Parsons, with Van Ness, they're doing some very creative things right now with their defense. Last year, they blitzed a lot with their corners and safeties. Haven't even put that in yet, because they don't need to. They just play coverage now. But I think his sack total is going to be as high as he's had him since he's been in. Has he ever had double-digit sacks?
No, I was just about to say it. Never had double-digit sacks.
Yeah. Well, he's about to get them now.
Well, he's had a lot of double teams over the years. There have been moments where you just sort of lost him, like what happened to Rashawn. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't say in his career he has been a stalwart in defending the run.
Right.
And maybe we'll see a step forward there as well. But you'd like to think, given the Micah Parsons effect, this would be the best year of his career in terms of sack totals. Yeah. And it's trending that way.
Right,
sure.
And he's going to get lost. In this last game, you had Micah Parsons lined up behind him. They forgot Rashawn Gary was even in the game.
I don't know how that happens. You see it every game. Somebody just doesn't get blocked.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Turn him loose. Because Micah Parsons, anybody but him, we'll let that dude here go. But that guy we can't let go.
All right, a subcategory in our buy or sell. It's called Real Deal or No Appeal.
Oh, my.
I'm going to go through the first place teams currently in the NFL. You tell me if they are the real deal or no appeal. In other words, yeah, they're undefeated, but come on now.
Okay.
Let's talk about this.
All right.
Start with the Buffalo Bills, first place in the AFC East with a record of 3-0. Real deal or no appeal?
Real deal. And right now, after 3 games, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL today. Real deal. And if you're talking about the AFC, to me, they're the team to beat in the AFC right now.
We have a tie for first place in the AFC North with the Cincinnati Bengals and Pittsburgh Steelers. Both teams are 2-1. We'll do a combo platter here. Real deal or no appeal for the Bengals and Steelers. You can have a different answer for either team.
Well, the Bengals are without their starting quarterback for a minute. They just got beat up here, so no appeal for the Bengals. The Pittsburgh Steelers, and I thought with the addition of Aaron Rodgers, they could make it to the playoffs. So I would say real deal for the Steelers.
The Indianapolis Colts are 3-0. Not only are the Colts 3-0, but they also have the best point differential in the NFL through 3 weeks with 1 game to go. Real deal, the Indianapolis Colts or no appeal?
It feels like the real deal the way they're playing right now. Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor, they're playing really good defense. It feels like it all's come together. Have it occurred to you that Saquon Barkley, Xavier McKinney, and now Daniel Jones, they all left the Giants? What is going on over there?
Well, what's funny is that the Giants paid Daniel Jones and then all of a sudden couldn't afford Xavier McKinney.
Yes.
Right? So McKinney gets loose as a 26-year-old in his prime and becomes an all-pro with the Packers. Jones leaves a terrible situation in New York, ends up in Indianapolis where they amazingly were able to win some games with Anthony Richardson and Gardner Minshew last year. Like they were in games. Like how in the world? Pretty good defense. But now he's a capable runner. Kind of a sneaky runner.
He's always been a good runner.
Got a pretty good arm.
Yep.
And he's got real weapons and a very strong running game.
And smart, making
Not
plays.
screwing up.
Yep. Making plays. Real deal.
I got a little more on the Indianapolis Colts coming up a little later in the program.
Okay, fine.
Los Angeles Chargers are currently leading the AFC West. Are they the real deal? Or, regarding the Chargers, is there no appeal?
Where are the 49ers?
We'll get to the NFC coming up in a little bit.
Sorry. Who am I talking about now?
The Chargers.
Oh, Chargers. I'm sorry.
Not only are they 3-0, Gary, but they are 3-0 in their own division. Every game they've played has been a division game.
Let's go. Harbaugh's doing an excellent job with Herbert. And he's playing out of his mind. And we saw Harbaugh do this with Kaepernick. They don't make mistakes. They're very sound. Herbert now, I feels like he plays within himself, but also I watched Herbert beat my Badgers when they played in the Rose Bowl. He was the best player on the field. His coach that he's had in the NFL didn't do him any favor. He's back to what people thought that he could be in the NFL. Absolutely the real deal, and I think Harbaugh should get all the credit for that.
Chargers are a good team. They are leaning on their passing game a little more, which makes a lot of sense. Justin Herbert can really sling it. Tough win over the Broncos to beat the Chiefs in Week 1 in Brazil. They had the Raiders in Week 2. That's another kind of a scheduling anomaly. They've had 3 games against division opponents to start their season.
Yeah,
not common, but 3-0 in the division. Want to win the division, you must win within the division.
Right.
And the Chargers are doing it better than anybody at this point. We'll go through the NFC teams coming up on the other side and dive in a little deeper on the Packers offensive line that got torched yesterday in the loss to the Cleveland Browns. Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday continues after this.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
The Marquette family is hurting. 2 men's lacrosse student athletes were tragically taken far too soon in an accident that has shaken the entire community.
In the face of unimaginable loss, this team continues to show strength, love, and resilience,
embodying what it truly means to be part of the Marquette family.
Now they need us.
You can support the team through the Men's Lacrosse Excellence Fund, with every dollar going to help them during this time of unprecedented challenge.
Find the link to help pinned to ESPN Milwaukee's Twitter page.
We are Marquette.
Hi, this is Mike and Michelle Grau from Professional Construction, Inc., also known as PCI.
You may know Milwaukee's pitcher, The Miz.
Yeah! And just like that player's nickname, PCI is short for Professional Construction, Inc.
One name, one team, one trusted local construction company.
Whether you call us PCI or Professional Construction, Inc., we're here to build or remodel your dream home.
PCI, for all your construction needs. Visit us at professionalconstructioninc.com.
Come catch the final battle of the regular season when the Brewers host the Reds Friday, September 26th through Sunday, September 28th. We're celebrating the best fans in the game on Saturday, the 27th at Fan Appreciation Night, presented by Toyota. Plus, if you're one of the first 30,000 fans through the gates, you'll take home a Brewers Tumbler giveaway too, presented by Quick Trip. Come close out the regular season with the crew. Get your seats today at brewers.com/tickets.
Well, you and I, we make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if you get your picks right, you can cash in. Prize Picks puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Prize Picks also offers injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. Prize Picks is the best way to cash in this football season. Which players are going to go off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the app, use code WI to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
This is Kevin Moret from Mentality. Every day is a silent competition, and with testosterone dropping 1% annually, you're fighting an uphill battle. Your colleagues notice when you lose your edge, your partner senses when your confidence wavers, and without addressing low T, you're set up to fail. No willpower can overcome this hormonal deficit. Mentality's FDA-approved treatments have shown a 30% increase in testosterone levels. Don't let low T define you. Reclaim your power at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
The dance of sunlight on water.
Shimmering, sparkling, beautiful, hypnotic.
Houses that overlook a gorgeous body of water are the most highly desired houses in the world.
The Bellamare collection of fine jewelry features classic white diamonds, flanked and surrounded by rare and exotic blue diamonds.
Bellamare means beautiful water.
Bellamare, sunlight on water, glimmering and twinkling.
The dance is enticing.
The look is spectacular.
The impact is exciting.
Blue and white diamonds created in the heart of Mother Nature
will dance and sing on the body of a glittering, sparkling woman.
Bellamare. This blue and white beauty of sunlight on water
should be worn on the fingers,
the wrist,
the neck, and the ears
of the woman you love.
The Bellamare collection is available only at Kessler's.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, pull out the Potawatomi and shoot your big shot for big wins. It's the Sweet Ticket September. It's going on all month long here. Play with your rewards card for entries and a chance to win Bucks tickets. More info is available online. Must be 21 years or older and a rewards member to play. Greg and Gary broadcasting from Potawatomi Sportsbook. Monday Night Football is underway, and the Lions are eating up some big chunks of yardage here on their opening drive. And there's going to be a lot of points in this game.
Yeah, did I say the Ravens are going to blow them out?
Well, you did, but again, it's the first drive of the game. I don't know if either one of these defenses is going to be able to stop the other's offense. Like I don't see it happening. Like this has Ravens-Bills from Week 1 written all over it.
You feel like okay?
That just a gut feel.
And so far, I mean, Jared Goff is on fire right now.
Yeah, throwing a couple nice passes to Jamison Williams, and the Lions are on the move.
Yeah, they are.
And
right away
in the red zone. Yeah. All right, let's go through it here. Let's continue our real deal or no appeal. We're going through the division leaders in each one of the divisions here in the NFL. We got through the AFC. Let's get through the NFC, shall we, Gary?
Sure, let's do that.
All right, real deal or no appeal here.
Do we have music for this?
Division leader. I'm sure Larson could find something for us. The Philadelphia Eagles with a record of 3-0. They barely got by the Rams yesterday. That was kind of a wild game. It was a day of blocked kicks, by the way, in the NFL. So the Rams, amazingly, had 2 of their kicks blocked in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And they were setting up for a game-winning field goal, potential game-winning field goal, when the Eagles blocked that kick and returned it for a touchdown the other way. So the score looks a little more lopsided than what was reality, I suppose.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the Eagles are 3-0, the defending champs. Real deal or no appeal?
Real deal. No question about it. Everybody thought it was going to be a letdown with their defense, but it's not. They're playing really well. Saquon Barkley hadn't even got going yet. So right now, they're just still doing the same things that they did last year, minus Saquon Barkley. A.J. Brown is kind of hit and miss, but they just overpower people. I mean, they just make plays when they have to make plays, and they don't make mistakes. Yeah, they're most certainly the real deal.
Let's go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, another 3-0 team here. It's not a very good division, to be perfectly honest, but each one of their games, I've noted here, has been razor thin, the final margin. They beat the Falcons 23-20, 20-19, a victory over the Texans in Week 2, 29-27. I thought the Jets are going to win that game, and all of a sudden Tampa Bay came up with a pick 6, and that game was put to bed. But a narrow 2-point victory for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker's got a little moxie to him, got a little toughness to him. Got some injuries that they're dealing with here, but are the Buccaneers the real deal, or is there no appeal?
Real deal in that conference for sure. When you start talking about Baker Mayfield, you just say moxie, football player. You know what I'm saying about quarterbacks, but that's what he is, and a leader. All those intangible things that you need in a quarterback, Baker Mayfield has those things in a surplus. And he is, to me, has kind of willed these guys to win these games. They play for him. The offense does, and those guys on the defense side of football, they play for Baker. Baker Mayfield is everything to that team by the way he plays.
They lost Mike Evans, their all-pro receiver, future Hall of Fame receiver. Got a hamstring injury. The rookie Emeka Egbuka is a very talented young player.
Oh, my goodness.
Chris Godwin should be coming back here in a couple of weeks. It's a team to watch, I think, primarily because their division is just terrible. I mean, it's just awful. I just don't believe in the Falcons, though I think they've got some intriguing pieces on offense. Mm-hmm. The Saints are an absolute nightmare. That's the worst team in the NFL, for goodness sakes.
Yep.
And the Carolina Panthers, it's hard for me to believe in them yet. They're very young. They're very young in a lot of key positions right now. So, and I get it. The Packers are young too, but boy, the Carolina Panthers are really, really a young team kind of trying to find their way. Let's go to the NFC West here. The San Francisco 49ers are atop the division with a record of 3-0. And keep in mind, 2 of these games are with Mac Jones as their starting quarterback with the injured Brock Purdy. A lot of injuries there too, but still an unblemished record. Real deal or no appeal?
Real deal. And Shanahan, does Shanahan get any credit? He coach anybody at quarterback. Plug and play. Let's go. Yeah, real deal. Now, is Bosa out?
Yes, that's going to be a problem. He's going to be done for the year, it looks like.
So that's going to hurt him. and McCaffrey ain't playing 17 games, but I still think they're the real deal only because I think Shanahan, he's just a mastermind. He gets his quarterbacks to play for him, and they, a lot like the Packers, is predicated on, hey, just get it to the open guy, and they've been able to do that.
Keep an eye on the Rams in that division. I do like the Rams for what it's worth.
The Rams, my grandson, that's his favorite team. The Rams.
The Rams?
The Rams. Now, Papa Gary, I like the Rams, and the Packers are my best team in Wisconsin. I say they better be the only team in Wisconsin.
He likes the Packers more than the Wisconsin Badgers, is what I'm supposed to take out of that?
I think maybe that's what he's saying.
Okay, I get it.
Or maybe he just didn't know what he was saying.
Well, that's also possibly true.
Yeah, but the Rams are his favorite team. Only because of the colors. He likes the colors in the Ram. He likes the helmet. The helmet got him.
Finish up with the NFC North, shall we?
Shall we, Greg?
Packers and Vikings atop the division with records of 2-1. The Vikings actually have a better point differential than the Packers based upon their throttling of the Cincinnati Bengals yesterday. But both teams are 2-1. Real deal or no appeal, Packers, Vikings.
Bliss in disguise. I don't like J.J. McCarthy, but I think Wentz could be their guy. Just from what I saw in one game. Real deal with Wentz. If it's McCarthy, not so much. Aaron Jones not going to play 17 games. He's already proven that. Who's the running back that they got now?
Jordan Mason has stepped in, and he stepped in for McCaffrey last year at this time and was fantastic.
Looks really good. They can make some noise.
You know me, I believe in the Minnesota Vikings, probably more so than I prefer to admit.
Yeah.
But I think they have a good head coach. Not at all.
Your daughters like the Vikings or something?
No, nothing about it.
Your house painted purple?
Nothing like that, no.
Their school colors are purple?
No, no.
Okay.
No, and no.
Okay.
I like Scandinavia. That's about it.
Who's that?
Nordic area.
Is that
in
purple?
The world? No, not purple, but Vikings.
Vikings.
Yeah, they eat whale and do all that kind of stuff.
I like whale. You ever had whale?
No, it's kind of gamey, I've heard.
It is, but it tastes like chicken.
Fair enough. Packers, real deal, no appeal.
Real deal, Greg. Come on, man.
We got to go through all the teams, man. I get it. I expected the
just
answer.
One little blimp on the radar. They'll learn from it, move forward. They got to get guys back healthy. Dallas going to be a good test. We'll get into that a little bit, but real deal.
We will get into the Dallas Cowboys, a matchup coming up here in Week 5 on prime time, or under the primetime lights, I should say, in Dallas. The return of Micah Parsons, and the Cowboys are beat up at some key positions. We'll go through the details with Todd Archer, ESPN Nation Cowboys beat reporter, right after this.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday.
Kick off your game day with a shine. Stop by Tsunami Express Car Wash now with 7 convenient locations across greater Milwaukee, including the brand new location in New Berlin. The best part, your very first wash is absolutely free when you sign up online. That's a $25 value on us. At Tsunami Express, you'll enjoy premium washes that protect your car, plus free vacuums and detailing tools to keep your ride looking spotless inside and out. Fast, easy, and always looking its best. Roll into the game feeling confident and clean. Claim your free wash today at TsunamiExpress.com. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat.
Seriously injured? Make one call. That's all.
Hi, I'm Jim Frucci, Managing Partner and PGA Professional at Morningstar Golfers Club, and I'd like to personally invite you to play your next round of golf at Morningstar. Lush green fairways, velvet smooth greens, magnificent vistas from high above our championship golf course. Morningstar was created with the serious golfer in mind, and it continues to be the public course by which all other area public courses are measured. Book your tee time today and reserve a spot on our membership wait list. Come out and see what all of Southeast Wisconsin's been talking about. Hey, you played the rest. Now play the best.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Neal Group. So the big, beautiful bill is now law. How does the new law affect individuals? For starters, the current tax rates topping out at 37% are made permanent. Taxpayers age 65 or older get an extra $6,000 deduction, but with a phase-out. Social Security is still taxable as it has been. You heard me. Social Security is still taxable, depending on your income. Individuals may deduct up to $25,000 and qualify qualified tip income. Up to $12,500 of the premium for overtime pay is deductible. Of course, there are restrictions. You earned it, we help you keep it. Call 414-325-2040 now to set up a meeting to see how you are affected by these and other provisions of the new law. Don't be surprised on April 15th. That's 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
Back to school means back to savings with Exterior Pros and Baths. Right now, get $3,000 off your roofing, siding, windows, or bath project during their fall savings event. Don't wait. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com to claim your $3,000 savings and book your free estimate. Exterior Pros and Baths, Wisconsin's trusted home improvement experts. Trust the pros.
To help those who want to be helped but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
Even your pickiest eater will say yes to this. Crispy chicken tenders are now at Cousin Subs. Perfect on their own with a favorite dipping sauce, or stacked in one of our 2 new subs, Classic Crispy Chicken or Bold Buffalo Ranch Crispy Chicken, made with quality chicken and served on our fresh baked bread. It's a mealtime win for kids and grown-ups. But hurry, these crispy favorites are only here for a limited time. Order in store, online, or on the app today. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis. To learn more, go to covenanthouse.org today.
You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
Working to get a hold of Todd Archer here, ESPN Nation reporter for the Dallas Cowboys. We'll dive into the matchup here as soon as we get a hold of Todd. We'll let you know this. The Cowboys have had a couple of narrow games to start their season. 24-20 loss to the Eagles, a 40-37 shootout win over the Giants, and then a bit of an embarrassing loss to the Chicago Bears over the weekend. CeeDee Lamb is going to be out here for a couple of weeks, so he is not going to play. That is probably the headline going into this matchup. Injuries affecting both teams, but CeeDee Lamb is probably that name at the top of the scouting report. We talk about, Josh Jacobs here. It's probably CeeDee Lamb if you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and move on to the next one, right? Is CeeDee not going to play? So the trickle-down effect is pretty significant in Dallas.
Well, right, because now it'll be about Ferguson, so I'm sure he'll get a bunch of passes.
Jake Ferguson got a running game with Javonte Williams. Dak Prescott, of course, leading that offense. In a defense that has not really found its footing, at least not yet. It wouldn't appear. We welcome in Todd Archer, ESPN Nation Cowboys beat reporter. Todd, thanks for joining us.
You got it. How you guys doing?
Hey, doing well. So, hey, let's start with what the Cowboys do best. Through 3 weeks of the season, what is it do you believe they do best? Well, the long pause may indicate that you're still searching for an answer here after 3 weeks.
Either that or he didn't season. Hear you. There we go.
Chris Larson is working at getting Todd back here on the line here, but you're trying to figure out what do they do best now, especially since CeeDee Lamb is being removed from this offense due to injury, right? With CeeDee, you've got a true number one. You've got the opportunity to spread the ball. You've got a nice, capable tight end in Jake Ferguson. They paid him money. He's going to be around there for a while. And you have kind of a resurgent run game with Javonte Williams after being cast away from Denver. He's now the focal point of the rushing game. And a quarterback, I think you kind of know what he is at this point of his career in Dak Prescott. So there's some pieces to that puzzle, but missing 88 is no easy task here now to try and win a football game without your best offensive player. As Todd Archer joins us back on the line. Todd, I'm wondering if you can articulate what it is you believe the Cowboys do best after 3 weeks of the season.
Brandon Aubrey's a really good kicker.
No, okay. All right. Well, there you go. That is true.
He really is. Yeah, he is.
Their run defense is solid. they can run the ball. They've shown they can run the ball with Javonte Williams. They can make big plays occasionally on offense. None of the stuff they really did much yesterday, though, against the Bears, so it's kind of hard to say. But when the first thing that came to my mind was Brandon Aubrey, that tells you the state of things, I guess, right now.
Right, and how bad does Jerry Jones wants this game against the Packers, though?
Yeah, I think he wants it. Obviously, the trade for Mike with Micah going up there and things. But he also acknowledged today when we ran into him inside the facility that, look, they're missing guys. CeeDee Lamb's out. Tyler Booker, their right guard, he's out. They're already down their starting center. So on offense, which is this team's strength, they're down 3 starters. And then you come back with a defense that has not been able to put pressure on the quarterback, has not been able to eliminate big plays. And Micah Parsons certainly would help with that. So everything that Micah brought to the Cowboys defense for 3 years, 4 years, has been his absence has been exacerbated by that. Like the Cowboys just haven't been able. They don't have another pass rusher close to Micah that impacts teams and how they block guys. They don't have a guy who can get to the quarterback quickly enough to force throws, to intercept passes and things. And then they have guys that are still getting used to what Matt Eberflus wants. So this has not been the start to the season the Cowboys defense thought they were going to have even after trading Mike. I think they thought they would be better than what they've been.
Todd, I'm sure all the players saying the right things, right, about the trade of Micah Parsons, but just how big of a shock do you believe it was in that locker room when Micah was traded the week before the regular season started?
I think a lot of guys were thinking, hey, this is normal Cowboys business. They'll get a deal done right before the season started, just the same way they did with CeeDee Lamb last year at the end of training camp or with Dak Prescott hours before the season started. So I think guys were surprised, but it's like any workplace, right? Like we all have people that we enjoy working with. We have people we kind of, I'm okay with that person. And then there are people you just kind of, I don't mess with that person very much. I think there was probably those 3 segments inside the Cowboys locker room that, liked Micah, was okay with Micah, and it was like, man, Micah's his own guy, and I do my own thing. And so it wasn't that big of a deal. But it caught a lot of us by surprise because I think we all thought it was going to trend in the same direction the Cowboys go with these deals. They don't trade their stars. They usually get their guys signed. Guys that Jerry wants, he keeps. And this is the first time really that I can remember that they didn't get something done and they just moved on with the trade.
So what are we getting in Micah Parsons? Now, it sounds like you say that he maybe could be a little bit more of a malcontent, and I know Jerry says
no. I wouldn't say that at all.
Well, then Jerry says he really couldn't play the run. What are we getting out of Micah Parsons?
You're getting a dynamic pass rusher. I don't want to make the impression that he's a malcontent or anything like that. I didn't want that to come across. They're just like anybody who works with people. There are people you like, there are people you don't like, and you still get along great. Like the 90s Cowboys, when they won Super Bowls, it wasn't no kumbaya in that locker room between all those strong personalities, but they made it work, and they got along well enough on Sunday. So, but I think with Micah, obviously dynamic pass rusher, can change games. There are times that he'll move to his own beat and maybe do some things that on the field that the coaches wouldn't want him to do, and that's kind of some of the defending the run stuff that I think the Cowboys and Jerry was talking about when they made the trade. But he has everything. A lot of the stuff he has you can't teach. Like it's not like because his ability to close is unlike just about anybody in the league. Once he gets on the run, you can line him up anywhere. The Cowboys right now don't have anybody that can do that sort of stuff. So I think he changes the defense. Not a mentality or probably just their wherewithal to do different things because they can move him anywhere that they want to put him. There was one snap, I don't know if it was his rookie year or second year, he actually lined up at cornerback and covered a receiver in the end zone and blew up a fade in the end zone. So there's a lot of things you can do with Micah that you just can't do with a lot of other guys that are 6'2", 254 pounds.
Yeah, we spent a few weeks here now, Todd, talking about how Micah Parsons is making life a little easier for others on the defensive side of the ball for the Packers, where Sean Gary all of a sudden leads the NFL in sacks after 3 weeks, and there is a Micah Parsons effect. It's on my show rundown each and every week. The Micah Parsons effect. Week after week, we go through it. I'm wondering if there's sort of an adverse effect in Dallas, where, you know, players that have shined the last couple of years, maybe because Micah Parsons has been on the field, soaking up a lot of attention, are off to a slower than anticipated start.
Yeah, you think of interceptions, right? When you're affecting the quarterback, and the Cowboys, when they had Dan Quinn here for Micah's first 3 years, led the league in takeaways. And a big part of that was his ability to get on the quarterback quickly and force early throws, and it makes the guys on the back end their lives easier, and that's why Deron Bland helped set a league record with 5 interception returns for touchdowns a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's why Trayvon Diggs had 11 picks in Micah's first or second year. So, and then on the pass rush, like, the Cowboys are now in a situation where Micah's the ace, right? He's the ace of the staff, and you know every fifth day in baseball you got a chance with your ace. Well, now the Cowboys are down to like their third and fourth guys in the rotation, and they're playing a lot of bullpen games. They don't have that guy, so that's on their pass rush, that when they break the huddle, the offense breaks the huddle, they're pointing out, hey, we got to know where that guy is. They don't have that anymore, and they've not done anything to really help those guys in terms of bringing pressure or bringing extra guys, changing up the coverages in the back end. They've just kind of done what they've done these 3 games. I think it's 87% of their coverages have been zone. Most in the league, not even close to who is in second at the moment. If you have 13 big plays of 25 yards or more, 5 touchdowns of 25 yards or more through the year. So everything that Micah impacts for the Cowboys his first 4 years has been on display here for the Cowboys in the first 3 games. Certainly the last 2 games against Russell Wilson and Caleb Williams.
And I know no one would ever admit this, but if you're a Cowboy fan or in the front office, but does it feel like, because of all the picks now that Jerry has accumulated, does it feel like it's a rebuild stage now for the Cowboys?
Yeah, you said it. They'll never admit that. I think,
right.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's been 30 years since their last Super Bowl, they'll never admit that. I think they view it as, if they sign Micah Parsons to a deal that was $45, $46, $47 million a year, whatever it would have been for him to stay here, then you would have his money. CeeDee Lamb's the second highest paid receiver. Dak Prescott's the highest paid quarterback. Ultimately, in their mind, they were willing to do that until the whole Jerry Micah negotiation that was or wasn't, whoever you want to believe, they were willing to make those 3 guys the highest at their positions and deal with the consequences of that from a salary cap nature. Now they view it from the point of view of, hey, we're not paying Micah that money. And I asked Jerry Jones, it's like, does this change your approach to free agency? And he's like, it could, yes. We'll now have around $200 million to spend over these next few years that we wouldn't have had that would have been tied up in Micah. So not rebuilding, certainly not reloading with the way that they've started either. But Kenny Clark has played well. You guys know Kenny better than I do. He's a really solid, good, has been an excellent addition to this defense, but they don't have that guy. And that's what they miss. And I don't know who you go out and get. Last week they signed Jadeveon Clowney, didn't play against the Bears. He'll be active this week. I don't know how much of a difference maker he is here in year 14 at 32 years old.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting way to put it. Kenny Clark was a wonderful player for a long time.
Good locker room guy.
He was never the top name on the scouting report, right? He just wasn't. There's other different marquee players, but he's a really good player and just a wonderful person. You got a great one there with Kenny Clark in terms of a locker room guy, and you already know that, Todd. It's going to be an interesting one here. I think the Packers are looking to prove that what happened in Cleveland was kind of a fluke, and I'm sure the Cowboys are looking to do the same here after I would say an excusable, narrow loss to Philadelphia in Week 1. You rebound in kind of a shootout against a division opponent. Division games are always kind of wacky. And then just an abysmal performance in Chicago yesterday, much like the Packers in Cleveland. So maybe a little bit of proving ground here on Sunday night.
Yeah, and it's funny, like, Russell Wilson in the games not against Dallas has looked like a completely replaceable player. Caleb Williams, it did not look the way he, in the other 2 games, did not look the way he did like he was against the Cowboys. And So there's so many questions about this Cowboys defense that I don't know how they answer them in 1 week, and I don't know how the offense can score enough points without CeeDee Lamb and Tyler Booker and Cooper Beebe, their center, to where they can get in a shootout either. So they're going to have to manage this game and kind of hope that the Packers help them out a little bit and maybe not play as well. But I do wonder, like, first play of the game, the Cowboys, if they do run Javonte Williams, you know it's going to Micah's side, right? Wherever they're going to try.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
They're going to come out in 3 tight ends. They're all going to be lined up on Micah, and they're just going to try and move him off the ball.
That's going to make Jerry very happy.
There's going to be a lot of shots of Jerry up in his. If Micah gets a sack, the next camera shot's going to be on Jerry before you even get to the replay. It's what's going to happen here. You can picture it. Todd Archer covers the Cowboys, ESPN Nation NFL reporter for the Cowboys. Todd, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us tonight.
You got it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
You bet. Todd Archer does a great work covering the Dallas Cowboys for ESPN. Hey, pull up to Potawatomi. Shoot your shot for big wins in Sweet Ticket September. It's going on right now. And for the rest of the month, play with your rewards card for entries, chance to win Bucks tickets, cash, and more. More information online. Must be 21 years or older and a rewards member to play. We wrap up the program with some final thoughts. Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday continues after this.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Greg Matzek, Gary Ellerson, the day after reaction show you need in your life.
Who benefits the most from Micah Parsons being on the field?
Secondary. Keyshawn Nix.
It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Mondays with Greg and Gary.
If you're a quarterback, you've got to get the football out of your hands before you really want to do it. I mean, everybody's getting their wealth with this, but to me, I think it's really the guys in the secondary.
Live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios from 6 to 8 p.m. every Monday on 94.5 ESPN.
Come catch the final battle of the regular season when the Brewers host the Reds Friday, September 26th through Sunday, September 28th. We're celebrating the best fans in the game on Saturday, the 27th at Fan Appreciation Night, presented by Toyota. Plus, if you're one of the first 30,000 fans through the gate, you'll take home a Brewers tumbler giveaway too, presented by Quick Trip. Come close out the regular season with the crew. Get your seats today at brewers.com/tickets.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Love, Jacobs, McKinney, Golden, and now Micah Parsons? This year's gonna be fun. Now's the time to set a game plan for your Green Bay and Wisconsin pigskin parties. This is Marie from Discount Liquor. We are your football party beverage headquarters. Whether you need an ice-cold keg, a bottle of your favorite wine, a unique craft brew, or hard-to-find liquor, we have everything you need, all at the lowest prices in town. Come see us today at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and on Barstow and Main in downtown Waukesha. Voted best liquor store again.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings.
Wherever you're tailgating, we'll get you all set up with your favorite beverages. We're open daily 9 to 9 and Sundays 10 to 2. See all of our weekly specials at DiscountLiquorInc.com.
Discount Liquor.
Monica, we've got to hand it to you.
You and the design team have outdone yourselves.
Are you talking about the One collection?
Those rings say you are the one.
And they say it symbolically.
Describe the symbols.
Every ring in the One collection should be presented with a special ritual.
What would that ritual be?
You pick up her left hand and you place a kiss on her ring finger.
Rick, you never told me about that part.
Then you show her the tiny red diamond, flush mounted inside the ring, that will forever be in contact with her finger.
Why is it red?
Because that's when the giver says to the one, wherever you go, my heart goes with you.
I give you this kiss. I give you my heart.
The red diamond is a secret symbol of that sacred moment.
The center diamond on the outside of the ring is for the whole world to see.
But the tiny red created diamond inside the ring is only for the two of them.
The One collection of engagement rings is available exclusively at Kessler's.
To find the Kesslers nearest you,
visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Carl Walls. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free, no interest for 3 whole years. Restrictions apply. Call 414-410-2000. And like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
It's Jason Wilde from Wilde & Tausch. Upgrade your industrial supply services with Lakeland Supply, your trusted ISO certified partner for custom packaging, shipping supplies, janitorial, and safety supply solutions. With over 40 years of industry excellence, Lakeland Supply is a proven one-stop source with over 95% of their products made in the U.S., and they treat their customers like family. Personalized service with a national reach. That's what Lakeland Supply does. Visit LakelandSupply.com to discover how they can make your business better.
We're back with Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios on 94.5 ESPN.
So 24 hours removed from kind of a painful loss here. I'm trying to figure out if Sunday's offensive performance for the Packers was a product of them facing an equally impressive defense, which I believe the Browns are. I think they are an impressive defense. Or are there larger issues in play? Is this as easy to put to bed as, the Browns have a great defense. Look what they did to the Ravens. They just flashed a stat here on Monday Night Football. Derrick Henry had 23 yards rushing against the Cleveland defense earlier this season. And I get it, division opponents and so on and so forth, very familiar with each other. But the fact that Josh Jacobs was held to 1.9 yards a carry, not a huge surprise to me. Cleveland can play D. They can affect the quarterback, and Jordan Love was under pressure 40% of his dropbacks. So the clunkiness on offense that we saw yesterday that resulted in just 10 points, is that because of the Browns? Or are there larger issues on offense here for the Packers?
Two things can be true. I always got to get one of those in there with you. Give me one every week now. The Packers' run game was part of their own doing only because, go back to preseason, they never had an established offensive line. I think Elton Jenkins was out a lot, didn't practice. We didn't know if it was because of the contract or whether he was hurt. Then he moved to center, so how much snaps did he really get at center? He hadn't played center since he was in college. Played a little bit last year in that rainy weather. I think we had it. They played Detroit, but that was his main position, was a left guard. So that's got to get some time to get used to. Then you brought big Aaron Banks over from San Fran. He hadn't really been with the center, and then so on and so forth. Now they've had all these injuries. So to me, I think it's a product really of your offensive line not meshing together just yet. Now you got injuries. Injuries could be good or bad. Good thing right now for the Packers, if they are, go ahead and let Zach Tom rest, and then whoever's your right tackle, make him your right tackle. If Banks can't play, whoever's your left guard, make him your left guard.
All right, so to echo your point here and your sentiment, think what you want about Pro Football Focus, but they grade out each and every player in the NFL in a given week. Their lowest graded offensive players in yesterday's game for the Packers were all offensive linemen.
Yeah, I could believe that.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
Right? All of them offensive linemen.
Proof is in the pudding.
Tom and Banks out in the first quarter with injuries. Why was Tom even playing? A good question. Did anything change with the offense? It didn't appear to. They were just in some challenging situations against a very good defense. Here's the numbers that I want to hone in on here. I do believe what we saw was correctable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about the Packers' offense, though I do believe that the offensive line has to go back to winning in the trenches. Continuity is going to go a long way in establishing that. And the run game will come around. I don't think this is a 22nd ranked rushing attack in the NFL. I think it will get better.
Yes.
But Jordan Love's air yards per target in weeks 1 and 2 were 12.5 yards per target. Okay, that was the best in the NFL, or the highest number in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Air yards per target yesterday against the Browns, 1.6 yards per target. Jordan Love, with no pressure, 14 of 18 for 162 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Sacked 5 times, pressured on 40% of his dropbacks. But everything was affected by the Browns' ability to create pressure and just destroy that offensive line. So it doesn't diminish a bad ball he threw on 3rd and 3, ball that he shouldn't have thrown, and maybe a play that shouldn't have been called.
Agreed.
But by and large, Jordan Love didn't have a lot of time to operate yesterday, and I do think that'll improve. It has to improve. I'd be shocked if it didn't improve against Dallas, a team that allows explosive plays all over the place,
right?
As we've seen in the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, I think you'll see them get better. I think the run game will get better. I think defensively, although everybody think they're really good, and they are, I think they're only going to get even better defensively. And they got to clean up special teams, Greg. We haven't talked a lot about that today, but the special teams issue can't be an issue. They've got to get that cleaned up.
Well, in a number of areas. Punting game seems fine.
Yep.
I would have said the kicking game is all fine, the exception of the block here, of course, that magnified block. I don't know what Tucker Kraft was doing on that play. But I have a theory here in the NFL. You can tell me if you agree or disagree with it. I think the NFL wants to get rid of the kickoff. I think they want to get rid of the kickoff, and I think they want to use collections of data points over the course of a couple of years that suggest there are so many penalties on kickoffs that here's why we should get rid of it, and here's what the data says, and so on and so forth. They haven't found a good reason yet enough to get rid of the kickoff in total. They keep tweaking the rules. I think there is a concerted effort to get rid of the kickoff, and that's why you see so many penalties.
Well, the
penalty all the time on kicks.
The data was going to be on injury, and they've cut that down, so that's not going to happen anymore, right? So if it's going to be any data at all, it's going to be on how many penalties they've accumulated on this. But
am I crazy in thinking that? Are the Packers the only team in the NFL that always seems to have a penalty on a kickoff?
Well, we probably need to do a deep dive. I'm using your word, deep dive, but I don't think they're not the only one. But it's because we watch them every day. It seems like they have more than most.
Something to keep an eye on. Yeah. Watch other games in the NFL and see if you pick up on that.
Now you got me.
See if you can pick up on it. Very curious to see how things map out here on Sunday Night Football. Of course, the eyes of the nation will be watching here, too, the more popular teams in the NFL. Got the Micah storyline with the Cowboys storyline and Jerry Jones. Meaty, juicy, and a full week to prepare here.
Very meaty, very juicy. A good story, though, Line, because of, you talked about Parson, Jerry Jones, Kenny Clark. We kicked their tails a couple years ago to get in a playoff game in Dallas. No one expected that. So there's a lot of parallels. The pass, not pass, drop, not drop. So at Lambeau Field. So, I mean, the Packers, Cowboys have a huge history.
A lot of it here, of course. It'll play out on Sunday Night Football here. For Gary Ellerson, I'm Greg Mansick. Thanks to our producer, Chris Larson, all of the fine folks here at Potawatomi Sportsbook for hosting us each and every Monday. We will be back again next week, recapping hopefully a Packers win over the Dallas Cowboys. ESPN Game Night next on ESPN Milwaukee.
Your path to a degree should fit your life, not the other way around. At Lakeland University, you can personally